Hey folks, I'm actually fishing some water close to home today, but I want to go through something that is important to how I fish when I'm on the road. I go to such a diverse array of fisheries. I fish deep, clear reservoirs. I fish inshore species like speckled trout and redfish. I fish for striped bass. I do a lot of bass fishing though. And I'm going to be doing some walleye fishing on Lake Erie with Chuck Earls in the next month. And I'll be down in Louisiana fishing the Ride the Bull tournament. I just fished the Three Bells Outfitters trifecta, which was striper, bluefish, and fluke. But the thing I want to cover today is how I organize my tackle in a way that I can fish, and I'll mostly just cover the bass stuff because that's what I have with me today. I'm going to be fishing a small creek that has some smallmouth bass, but I'm carrying a lot more than what I really need to today, just to show you the array of drop shot, deep diving crankbait, square bill, top water, buzz bait, spinner bait, all the different Z-Man soft plastics I have. I can do a lot of stuff with how I organize a very generalist sort of approach to organizing my tackle. That includes fishing for panfish as well. So I'll be here at the creek in a little bit, and we'll just dig into my tackle organization and how that allows me to catch fish in whatever type of fishery I happen to be in. All right, we'll go ahead and get unloaded. I will tell you that everything tackle-wise that I carry is pretty much in two things. This is my black pack. I have two of the Omega rod holders fixed to the top of it so that I have my rods pointed back. This is why it's important that my rods in the rod holders are pointed back. You go under docks, you go under this stuff, you just don't hang on things that when your rods are pointed up that you hang on. You go where you want to. And we'll get into everything that's in this particular black pack. And the other thing that I carry, and I'll just say the black pack has predominantly Z-Man soft plastics. This one kind of has everything else. We'll get into it, but you can see that it's quite the mess, quite the assortment here on this top layer. And it has this bottom layer that has everything that I carry that has treble hooks. So we'll get it down there. We're going to get my inflatable, my NRS Star Rival in the water. Then we'll go over everything. Okay, got everything ready. Let's do a quick bow to stern, and then let's go over all the tackle organization. I say bow to stern, but you know I'm always going to start with my favorite, the Torqeedo Ultralight 1103 AC. Gets this rig up to 6.8 miles per hour. It's really not speed I'm going to be using today. It's going to be the very low, the low speed, low throttle setting to just keep cruising up this this creek and explore down the other way. Got a lot of really nice water here, and having both the foot control steering, and then I have the standing stick steer up there. There's a whole other video showing that. You got it on there with the Innovative as Sportsman adapter plate. This one's custom. We have the 915 watt hour lithium battery that comes with the Ultralight 1103 AC. The Yak Attack switchblade transducer arm. I'm not running my Humminbird Helix 10, but it normally sits there. I just don't need it on this fishery. I can see everything I need to cast to. I got a watershed dry bag. It's got, well, it's my man purse in terms of videography, fishing licenses. I got to put my wallet in there in a second. My paddle, it's actually an Adventure Technology Atlas. This model with a bent shaft actually never came into production, but I love that paddle. It's good for you know, stand-up paddling too. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 rod holders. They're all pointed back. I actually only have 4 rods today. Could have brought a 5th, but for what I'm doing out here, I didn't really need it. So the black pack, I'll switch that over. I'm going to move my boga grip up. I'm going to find, we're going to get into all this a little bit later, and not just my PB&Js. But I am going to move my braided line scissors up. I need, let's see, I need this. That needs to be right in front of me. So I use that constantly. I got all my different line. I tell you what, we're here. We'll just fold this into the bow to stern. So all of my setups have braided line that goes to the fluorocarbon leader. Maybe not the best choice for top water, but it's what I got. The chatterbait or Z-Man jackhammer is on that setup. The Pro Craws with the Laztec, that's going to look awesome in this smallmouth infested water. On the rigging bullets is on that setup. So I need a variety of different weights, and what I have is 20-pound test, 15, 12, and 10. This is this keeps it organized. It is, it's like Velcro, but it's double-sided hook and loop webbing. You can, if you just go on Amazon and just type in double-sided hook and loop strap, you will find this stuff. I actually usually have it in black, but I got some Torqeedo orange in there as well. So I'm going to set all of this aside as I pull it out. This little box, there's a lot of my terminal tackle, a couple jig heads. I do have some of the rigging bullets that I use, the Z-Man rigging bullets. I have more elsewhere. I got some drop shot weights. I got some tungsten bullet weights. If I'm fishing deep, I can peg them with these bobber stops. I got, you know, some wacky rig hooks. I got some glass beads. I like the glass beads out in front of anything, any hook that I'm fishing with a lot of vegetation, like tidal Potomac. You put a soft plastic swim bait up in the spatter dock or a fluke or something. That bead out in front helps that bait deflect off of the stems. Got some Z-Man trout eye jig heads, all kinds of stuff in there. Extra wide gap strip pin hooks. So small stuff. I actually got this particular one in a goodie bag, grab bag from when I appeared on Bike Live a couple years back. It's easier to do this two-handed. We'll snap that back in there. So here's, and I'm just playing around with the Pro Claws. That's sort of my new bait I'm going to play around with. But this is heavy. These bags are all sort of categorized in these. I think they're 5mm or 7mm poly bags. So if you go on Amazon again, type in 7MIL or 5MIL poly, as in Polly wants a cracker, POLY, bag. And it gives you these, we'll call them Ziplocs. This particular one is, it's got my drop shot, it's got drop shot baits and drop shot stuff. You know, the hooks for it. I got the weights down the bottom. I actually make those with the Do It mold. So this is my, I'm going to keep them all separate, drop shot bag. I'm not drop shotting out here, but got everything I need. This one is all my finesse jigs, just a good sampling of like the Z-Man Shrooms finesse, micro finesse jigs in there. And then a lot of these little trailers that I'll put on there. So finesse jig bag. What's the next one? This one is Jody Queen's fault. Hi, Jody Queen. So this is my big worm bag. And by big worm, I specifically mean mag fatties, which is a great big worm to fish. I got them in green pumpkin and blue and black flake. I think there may be Canada craw, California craw. Yeah, California craw in there. That's basically the extent of my color selection. And then I got the right, couple different weedless mag shrooms is one way to rig it. And then there are the other, heaviest rigging bullets, or pro rigging bullets, is another way. So big worm. So drop shot, finesse jig, big worm. And this is what I'm going to be using today. I'm going to use this a lot. These are my jerk shaft bag, and I use these a lot. The finesse bullets, and this is the lightest one, I think 15th ounce. And you can see that on that nice St. Croix Legend Extreme rod, that is what I have tied on first. Anyhow, because I have so much faith in these little scented jerk shads. Redfish toad's a great color. You know, it's basically a jerk bait, soft plastic jerk bait profile with a little bit of weight on it, so it has a real slow fall. There's a Teckle Frog just randomly in there, extra Liquid Mayhem, some hooks for probably throwing whatever. This is an important bag, and this is one of the heaviest. What I have in here, my hand-tied 1/4 ounce brush jigs. I got them in black, and somewhere on the bottom there's green. And then I got all the different trailers for them. I use these a lot. The Bat Wings 2.75. I got green ones. I got green and black with blue flake palmetto bugs. So much of the fishing I do is with that 1/4 ounce hand-tied brush jig with the double split brush guard. This one, I actually labeled them at some point, finesse / small. Little stuff, little drop shot worms, little TRD craws. Let's see what else is in here. TRD hogs, just small stuff. And most of this is stuff that I would rig either like a Med head or probably on a 3/16 ounce tungsten weight. And then chatterbait trailers, but I actually graduated to just throwing the chatterbaits in there. And I got everything from palmetto bugs to razor shads to the different craws and diesel minnows. I got lots of different trailers, and the chatterbaits are down there in the bottom with them. And then I got my my swimming minnow bag, which is diesel minnows. I actually have some of the old grass kickers in there. I got all kinds of stuff, but basically swim baits. And this is what I needed earlier. Gotta get my pliers out because I am throwing something with a treble hook to get that Sammy ready. So, and then there's a bag with zinkers in there. So soft plastic stick baits. Now, I'm gonna take a minute, put all this back in there. This is way more than I need for today's trip. But again, I travel the country. This box will be in Maine in September. It'll be in Louisiana later this month. It'll be, I mean, it just goes everywhere. It's been to New Jersey and Illinois, and it just goes everywhere. So I got to be prepared for fishing on Lake Erie or fishing some deep clear reservoir up in northern New Jersey or in my home state of Maryland. It can do anything. It can do the tidal Potomac. It'll probably do some other tidal waters, Chesapeake tributaries here pretty soon. But it's ready for whatever. I gotta get back and organize that. But we're gonna put that down like that. Three Bells Outfitters has these in all sorts of different species. Of course, I grabbed the smallmouth. It's just EVA foam. Let's get into this. So, mostly what was in there was soft plastics, different jig heads for soft plastics, jigs, chatterbaits. This is sort of everything else, including, and this may surprise you, my favorite thing in this box is the trout magnet. I caught big trout in Illinois with this. I catch big bluegill and crappie and yellow perch and white perch and everything on this. The gold one is awesome, but I got other ones in there. Trout magnet. I got these little plug knockers that Matt Elliott made for me. Just a chunk of lead. Whenever you hang up a jig or crankbait, clip that on your line, slide it down. Got a couple spinner baits there. I think that one's a Trey Leach approved War Eagle. These are some that I got. These are some that I tied myself with bucktail. I got some assassinator clackers in there, all kinds of stuff. Got more tackle. Got my spoon, my jig and spoon, and I got some blade baits in there. I can get into the cold weather and do that. Again, more big spoons. Got some buzz baits in there. Man, did Russ Snyder's ever pull me right back to fishing a buzz bait. I got some pre-rigged jigs, so I don't have to dig through what's in there. I can just grab ones that I've already rigged and fished a little bit. Got a whole bunch of those bullets jig heads. The pro size with the bigger hook, and then the smaller ones. This is a little stick bait from Bass Pro Shops, basically a 3-inch Senko. That will always catch a fish. And I keep these little gammies to rig those. And I got some other rigged baits in there already, ready to go. There's a diesel minnow. Keep a Sharpie marker, because I don't think I have Actually, that rod has, if you look at the braided line there, there's alternating, and I got to redo it, black and yellow, although it's faded to white. What that Sharpie marker does is I alternate it so that when I look at the line on the water, I can see it taken off much better. It's just a visual strike detection tool. Got my crazy glue or Gorilla Glue in there. Yeah, I've pretty much covered what's in here. So we will shut that top one and then jump into the bottom one, which is anything with a treble hook. And this is one I struggled with because I always seem to have a specialized box. I would have my wake bait box, and I would have my jerk bait box, and I'd have my top water. Here's a couple whopper clopper box, and then I'd have my square bill box, and I'd have my deep diving crankbait box, and you know, it just went on and on and on. But I would pick one for where I think I was going. I would think, hey, I'm gonna be doing deep diving crankbaits, and then I'd get there and it'd be muddy as all get out, and I'd be like, oh crap, I didn't bring my, did I bring them? Yes. I didn't bring a bunch of lipless cranks, lipless rattling crankbaits, you know, for that muddy water, or whatever it was. So instead of doing many specialized boxes, I condensed it all, and I get a lot in here. But whatever I need, if I need a tiny little size 1, I may throw that today, size 1 square bill, that is in there. There's not a lot of them. I think there's 1, 2, there's 2 of them. That's enough. If I need the deep diving Spro Little John, I use that a lot in a lot of the shad lakes. If I'm fishing somewhere where there's, you know, big largemouth that are eating bluegill, I got that live target, you know, wake bait. So whatever, I have it all covered. It's a lot of variety, but it's not a lot of one thing. Okay, maybe it's a lot of crayfish crankbaits. I kind of like those. I may throw that too. Lots of tasty things in there. Anyhow, that allows me to fish lots of different waters across the country, and I'm rarely without something that I need. And usually, if I find that I am without something I need, I'm pretty happy about it. And that may sound weird, but that means that I'm learning. That means that I'm fishing with somebody who's an expert on that local water, who's doing something that I've never done. He's fishing a bait I've never fished, or maybe he's fishing a bait that I've never fished it the way they are. I don't know. It's cool to fish with different people and learn their tricks. Watch them do it. And usually, when you travel as much as I do, I'm not a threat. I'm not going to come back and fish their spot. I'm going to do what I can to get the right angles to not spot burn and say, I'm on such and such a creek today with, you know. So they tell me their secrets. They tell me, you know, they bring me to their A spots, and then they show me their A+ presentations, and I learn them. And a lot of them are in this box or that box. Let's continue with the bow to stern. I just put this on like last night, and I don't even know if this is going to fit. But this is Yak Attack's. Oh God, I hope it's on there. I'm gonna have to print what it's called. I can't keep track of, but it's their paddle holder. It's double something. It's 2 roto grips on a thing that puts it out, and I'm actually going to use that today because I'll be using the stick steer. So that's pretty cool. The other double thing I have is double anchor wizards. Got this one that runs to the back, runs straight out there. I'm actually hooked to, there's a little anchor that's keeping me in position right there, so I can anchor off the back. I can also anchor off the front because I have the second one there. That's my motor lift. I used PVC pipe as a handle, which is better than the little knob that comes with the motor. I got a stealth pulley in there. I got a bunch of little holes drilled in this custom plate that I made. I got more of those plug knockers, and I got looks like a jig head there. I got the Innovative Sportsman foot control steering kit on this with the Attack 90-degree adapters. And what makes it all possible is this. This is the switch pad, the Yak Attack switch pad. I got a retractable, the T-Rain, the Yak Attack T-Rain with my braid scissors. There's the Torpedo throttle. What else we got here? I got my cables for the depth finder, which I don't really need because I'm not using it today, and then more switch pads and track, and that's my boat. I had to get that custom made. You glue it on there, you order it, they print it, then they mail it to you, and you glue it on there with the HH66. Anyhow, that's my boat. I did want to go over that, and hopefully that has helped you think about your own tackle organization and what you need to do to never be without. And I think we fall into a trap of carrying too much, maybe too much of one thing, and then having holes in other presentations that we didn't bring. And I've evolved. I'm going to credit Trey Leach, the guy that runs Innovative Sportsman. I watched him simplify his tackle, his offerings, his colors, and what he carries, because he realized at some point, he's like, I carry all this crap and I end up using two things. Well, maybe more than two things. And he got rid of a lot of the other crap, at least in terms of the volume. Maybe he carries one or two of these other things, but he carries enough of the things he knows he's going to. And I watched him do that, and it's really cool, because right now I'm watching him kick ass at tournaments. He's winning, and he's simplified his tackle, and that is so helpful. Anyhow, I'm gonna go catch some fish on this rig in this creek, and I'm not telling you where I'm at because it's such a cool place. Let's go find some smallmouth. There he is. Here's a nice big smallmouth. That's a pretty fish. That's a good creek smallmouth. Ooh. Oh yeah. All right, that is where I loosen that drag. In the net. Excellent teamwork there, Mr. Smallmouth. You jumped perfectly into my net. Much appreciated. 1, 2. Okay. All right. That's a beautiful fish. Here's the current seam that fish came off of. Common denominators with the 15-incher I got earlier. There's some shade and wood. There's a little bit more current here. I think that fish just came out of that log jam right there and just followed it down to the current seam. There's a lot going on here, but wood is important in these creeks in the summertime because you know, it's there's shade underneath each of these logs. You need that shade to have cooler temperatures. And you know, they're ambush points. I don't think they're actively feeding. Like, I don't think they're on the hunt right now. I think that probably happens later in the day when the sun gets a little bit lower, but that was an opportunistic eat, I would say. We're not done yet. That's the beauty of previewing water before you fish it. You go upstream, you're like, yep, there's some good looking submerged wood down there. Maybe you see at a distance, and then you drift back down, and there he is on the return trip. Wood and current. And you know, during the middle of the day, shade was part of it, but wood and current and depth certainly helps. So, excuse me, young man, I do not believe that you meet the minimum height requirement for this ride. Nope. Get out. Come back next year when you're taller.